Over the past couple of months, I've seen a lot of people express some extreme disinterest or frustration in the fact that there have been a lot of Battle Royale games coming out on what seems like an almost weekly basis. And I can't really say that I blame you for your frustration, because it seems like a lot of them are coming out undercooked or not really well thought out. But with the success of Fortnite and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I guess a lot of game developers are thinking, hey, this is an easy game to create, an easy style of game to implement, let's go ahead and make our own. If they can succeed, surely so can we, right? Well, it's not quite that easy, as Boss Key Productions so painfully learned. Radical Heights wasn't the first Battle Royale to fail, and it's not going to be the last. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more by the end of 2018, and I have a feeling that most of them are probably going to die out pretty quickly. But while it can get tiresome to see a new Battle Royale game getting announced every week, and with E3 around the corner, I think we can expect a nice handful of even more. I'm glad that this gold rush is happening, because as I asserted in my previous video, I believe that gold rushes like this are good for the industry. I claimed that it's good for innovation and creativity and growth. While it's easy to be cynical about this whole gold rush and think that any game company that's jumping onto this genre is just in it for a quick buck, and while you might be true in a portion of these cases, I think that overall, this is a really good thing to be happening and a really good time for gaming in general. And I'm making this video to hopefully explain to you why I think that is. The Battle Royale genre, love it or hate it, is really popular for a reason. It's capturing the imagination of thousands, way to undershoot it, man, millions of players, tens of millions of players. These games are so big that they're invading mainstream media.
This is a new game called Fortnite, is drawing millions of players, and some parents are worrying their kids are spending way too much time at the controls.
Celebrities are tweeting about them and having games with Twitch players and creating huge events. They're wildly successful in a way that we haven't seen in quite a long time, especially Fortnite. And with the exception of people that are looking for a quick buck, the kind of situation that we as players want our game developers to be in is for them to create a game that they want to play. Because if they do that, then they're going to have the passion, they're going to have the drive to make it succeed. And when these two things collide, a popular game and game developers, obviously, the game developers are going to start having ideas of their own. You might love PUBG, you might love Fortnite, you might love Darwin Project, or you might love one of the many others that exist. Or you might hate the genre altogether. But one thing that I know is that there's plenty more to be explored in this genre. There's so many things left to do. There's so many different things to discover and so many different gameplay mechanics and elements that have not been implemented into this genre quite yet. That's why I'm so excited to see a game like Battlerite enter into the Battle Royale genre. Sure, it's yet another Battle Royale game entering into this wildly populated and possibly oversaturated genre, but it's doing something that's new and exciting and different, but with the same framework around it as these other popular games that so many people enjoy. Now, I've gone on record saying I don't really care for Fortnite or PUBG all that much because there's so much walking around, but that's not to say that I dislike the genre at its core. I like what it tries to do. I think it can be a lot of fun. I just don't really care for the two big games that exist right now. I love Darwin Project, but like I said, I feel like there's so much more that can be explored, so many different mechanics that can be explored. This isn't the first gold rush that's happened in the gaming industry. It's a large one, but it's not the first. I mean, not too long ago, we had the survival gold rush, where it seemed like every week there was a new survival game, and even today, it seems like every week there's a new, gritty, realistic survival game coming out, and we probably have games like Minecraft to blame for that. While it wasn't the first, it was hugely popular, and I think a lot of people gravitated to the survival style of game. Running around, gathering materials, building your base, crafting your tools, and gaining the courage and the ability to explore further away from where you live. Sure, it can be frustrating seeing another low-effort survival game hit Steam or something, but I'd be willing to bet that most of you who like the genre have a few standout favorites. Without Minecraft, we might not have had Ark. We might not have had 7 Days to Die. That's just a few examples. And even before that, when The Binding of Isaac was released and became way more successful than even the developer thought it would, we saw so many game developers hopping on the coattails of The Binding of Isaac and creating their own roguelite experience. There were probably a handful of them that failed. And for a while there, whenever a new game was released with roguelite elements, you'd hear people say, "Oh, another roguelite? I'm just gonna play Binding of Isaac." Or, "Ugh, I'm so sick of all these permadeath games." But I think without The Binding of Isaac, we wouldn't have ended up with games like Our Darker Purpose, which admittedly feels and plays a lot like The Binding of Isaac, but has its own spin on it that makes it feel unique and is still a lot of fun. And more recently, we have Wizard of Legend, another roguelite that puts its own spin on combat and item collection. At its core, it's pretty similar to The Binding of Isaac. You go into a dungeon, you fight enemies, you look for treasure, you visit shops, you buy things from merchants, decide whether or not you want to sacrifice something for something else with cursed items, fight a boss at the end of the level, and then go on to the next level. You have various items that you can collect to alter your playstyle. You collect various abilities that alter the way your attacks work, and that's where it starts to diverge a little bit. Floors, like The Binding of Isaac, are procedurally generated, but it's a lot more seamless going from room to room than it is in The Binding of Isaac, where you walk through a doorway to go to the next room. Combat's a lot more fast-paced and frenetic and skill-based compared to The Binding of Isaac. The game is insanely fun and something that I didn't know that I wanted, even though I generally enjoy roguelites. But my point is this: without the gold rush that The Binding of Isaac helped create, without that game existing and inspiring hundreds of developers to create a game in their own image, while stealing some of the essence from another popular game, many games that I love today wouldn't exist. It's probably naive to put all of the blame of Wizard of Legend existing on a game like The Binding of Isaac. There was probably a lot more that went into Wizard of Legend than just that game. But I would be genuinely surprised if Contingent 99, the developers of Wizard of Legend, weren't fans of The Binding of Isaac. Or at least weren't inspired by it, or a similar roguelite. And for most developers, this is the way game development works. They play games, they discover what they like, they get inspired, and they create the game that they want to play themselves. Granted, this is more true in the indie scene than it is in the AAA industry, but even in AAA, the ideas have to come from someone, right? And this is why I think the Battle Royale Gold Rush is a really good thing for the gaming industry. People are being inspired to create. And while it might not be tangible right now, that inspiration is going to end up creating some incredible games for us, the players, in the future. And that's what we all want, right? So feel free to be frustrated at the amount of Battle Royale games coming out, but also know that a lot of them are probably coming from game developers who just wanted to create a game that they wanted to play. Maybe they have ideas for the genre to help push it into a new direction. Maybe the next one is going to do something wild and crazy that none of the others have even considered, that the players haven't even considered. It's an exciting prospect, and I for one am looking forward to seeing what people come up with in the future. Sure, there's going to be a lot of cynical cash grabs along the way, but remember, not every single one of them is going to be a cynical cash grab. And that's going to be it for this video. As always, let me know what you think about anything that I said in the comments section below. Are you sick of the gold rush already? Or are you just waiting for that one game to tickle you in just the right place to make you have a lot of fun? Wow, I couldn't have put that in a more creepy way, could I? Anyway, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you hate the way that I'm justifying all of these Battle Royale games, and subscribe for more awesome gaming content like this in the future, and I will see you next time.